Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. In today's video, we're going to be talking about what I believe is one of the most important yet at the same time misunderstood foods that you can feed your birds, and that is sprouted seeds. Now your birds need a regular based diet of a simple dry seed mix, and this is going to be important for them to keep them going year round. But at the same time, you have to learn how to incorporate sprouted or germinated seeds into their diet. These sprouted and germinated seeds are what are going to give these birds a boost and help them throughout the breeding season and in many other ways to get into proper breeding condition and stay healthy year round. So today what we're going to be doing is we're going to be sprouting this germination mix from Paradise Aviary, and this is a germination mix that I offer on the website. It has a variety of different seeds that all sprout around the same time, and it has Dove Proso, Japanese millet, and brown top millet. So let's go ahead and start the process so I can show you guys how simple it is to sprout these seeds and give it to your birds. So what we're going to do is we're going to start off by grabbing our germination mix and a strainer. Go into your sink, place the strainer in the sink, and place the seeds inside of your strainer. Now run some water through these seeds. We want to wash them very good. We want to make sure that we get all of the dust off the seeds and clean them out before we start the process. Once we're done rinsing the seeds, we're going to put them in a solid container and we're going to fill that container with water. You want to cover all of the seeds, so make sure to add enough water. We're going to leave them in here for about 12 to 24 hours soaking. This is what's going to soften up the outer shell of the seeds and help them sprout faster. After you fill the container up with some water, we're going to add 1 teaspoon of apple cider vinegar and stir the seeds well. This is going to help the seeds so that we don't have any mold growth. The acidity in the water will be increased by adding the apple cider vinegar, and it won't allow any mold to form while these seeds start the process of germination. Okay guys, so you're almost done. You're halfway there. See, it's not that difficult. Once you have these seeds inside of that container soaking for about 12 to 24 hours, you can go ahead and remove the seeds from that container and place them back inside of the strainer. You're going to let all that water drain out, and you're going to go ahead and rinse your seeds once again. Once these seeds have been rinsed, leave them inside of that strainer and place them somewhere in your kitchen, somewhere that's a little bit dark and warm. Leave them there for about another 24 hours. Now during this 24-hour period, while they're sitting inside of that strainer, you want to go ahead and at least rinse them once or twice. This is going to keep the seeds moist. These seeds, as the day progresses or as that 24-hour period progresses, they're going to start to dry up. You don't want your seeds to dry up completely because it stops that germination process. These seeds have to be a little bit moist. So make sure at least once or twice during that 24-hour period that you go ahead and you spray these seeds down with water and you let them drain once again inside of that strainer. Give them a good toss around in there so that the ones that are at the bottom come to the top and so forth, so you give them a good mix. Now usually around 24 hours is where you're going to start to see the very first breakthrough, what it's called a chit, that pops out of the seed, and it's that germination or that sprouting that starts to come out. It may take a little bit longer or a little bit shorter depending on your location. Obviously, if you're up north and it's cold, it might take a little bit longer. If you're down south in a warmer environment, we're here in Florida, usually within 24 hours, these seeds start to sprout. Now, one key note that's very important to remember is the seeds have the highest nutritional level when that little breakthrough starts to come out of that seed at first. You don't want that seed to sprout and give you a very long stem or a very long sprout, because the thing that happens is the longer that sprout gets, the weaker the protein level in the seed gets. You want to stop the germination process as soon as you see the seeds starting to break out. That first little initial chit comes out, and that's when you want to grab your seeds and freeze them or put them inside of the fridge. During this time is when those seeds are going to be at their highest nutritional level. Once a seed sprouts, it becomes a completely different food nutritionally. The seed is no longer dormant. Enzymes are activated, vitamins increase, proteins become more digestible, and the overall nutritional value goes way up. One of the biggest benefits of sprouting seeds is improved nutrition. Sprouting increases vitamins like A, B, C, and E, which are all critical for feather quality, immune health, and overall vitality. You'll often notice birds on sprouted seeds have brighter plumage, better energy levels, and stronger breeding condition. Another huge advantage is digestibility. Dry seeds are hard and require more effort for birds to break down. Sprouted seeds are softer and easier to digest, which is especially important for young birds, breeding pairs, and species that are more sensitive or delicate. If you keep exotic finches, you already know how important easily digestible foods can be. Another thing to take in mind is that sprouted seeds are one of the best conditioning foods you can offer when you're trying to trigger breeding behavior. In nature, sprouted and fresh foods signal that conditions are right. There's water, food is abundant, and it's time to raise young. When I introduce sprouted seeds into my finch's diet, I often see increased singing from the males, nest building, and stronger feeding responses between pairs. They're also extremely helpful once chicks hatch. Parents tend to feed sprouted seeds very eagerly, and because it's soft and nutritious, it's ideal for feeding young chicks. Many breeders will tell you that sprouts can make a noticeable difference in chick survival and growth, especially during the first week of life. Now keep in mind that it's important to understand that sprouted seeds are a supplement, not a complete diet. They should be fed alongside a high quality seed mix, fresh greens, egg food during the breeding season, and mineral sources like cuttlebone and grit. Balance is key when it comes to finch nutrition. In my experience, once you start feeding sprouted seeds regularly, it's very hard to go back. You'll notice healthier birds, better breeding results, and overall stronger condition across your aviary. So if you're serious about keeping and breeding exotic finches, sprouted seeds are something you should strongly consider adding to your routine.